Yeah, hello everybody. I saw some hands before, and I saw that some people did not raise their hands, and Steve had this idea to present about the work that W3C has done on web performance, and that everybody in this room should actually know what has been done in this space and also what's coming next. And I think that's a great audience to talk about this. And yeah, it's basically about answering a very specific question that everybody of us is asking himself every day. So how fast does your site load for your actual users? Which is one of the big problems that we need to answer, and as we've heard in the talks before, we know how fast sites have to be. So what we did in the past was something like this. You had a little script on top of your page which just takes the current time, and then on the onload event you register an event handler, you subtract those two numbers from each other, and it kind of should give you an idea how fast your page actually loads. Yeah, the problem is that this is not really the full truth and you're missing a lot of time. Like in this example, you see that there is some wait time from the browser, DNS time, TCP connect time, server time, and so forth. So if you would measure the response time of your page like this, you would in this case miss about 400 milliseconds. So, and I think I put up this slide for probably the worst performing JavaScript code that is shown at this conference. I don't know whether there's an award for this, Steve. If I want to do this with all the resources on my page, I would do something probably less stupid than this one. I have a script tag in front that tells me, okay, I started the download, and at some point I actually downloaded that image and I want to get this information. So it's a lot of handcrafting. It's getting non-ideal information while asking the question, so browsers have all this information, so why not simply export this information, making it available to us so that we can use it and improve our websites based on it. And that's what the W3C Performance Working Group is all about, providing better means, better APIs for people interested in web performance that they can use and work with it. And I think the most widely known standard is navigation timing, which more or less breaks down the whole page lifecycle into individual steps and lets you get all the metrics really from the user entering a URL or clicking on a link until the onload event actually has finished loading. And I think at Velocity, Santa Clara, this slide or this graph actually was shown in, I don't know, half of all the sessions. So what it really does, it breaks it down into the individual pieces, and suddenly you see the whole lifecycle. You see DNS times, TCP connect times, request times. Even if you're using SSL, you see your SSL connect times, and so forth. So measuring got simple, and I don't know whether you're really able to read it, but these two lines of JavaScript down there actually are needed to figure out how long this page, in this case Amazon, takes to load. So it's just accessing window.performance.timing and just taking the onload event end minus the fetch start event and figuring out that it takes 3.5 seconds, and you can do it all in JavaScript in the browser. Next question is, what's the browser support right now? And the good news is browsers are already supporting it. I've taken the statistics here from Steve's page Browser Scope, where they're testing for the availability of the web timing API in browsers, and you see that most modern browsers today support it except Safari, but there's hope that at some point Safari will support it as well. And here you have two pictures in action. So one is showing like navigation timing in Chrome, and the other one is it's on a Windows mobile phone here. I actually had to take a real photo here because I don't know how to make screenshots on this phone. And for those of you who are actually eager trying it out yourself right now, so here you have a link to a little performance bookmarklet that does exactly that. So you just can use it to execute a little bit of JavaScript on your page. And what it then does for you, it just calculates that breakdown, breaks on the page load time here. And currently, work has started on navigation timing version 2, which adds two things. The first one is high resolution time. So during the work, people figured out that we need a bigger time precision than just millisecond, especially if you want to calculate frame rates. Millisecond resolution is not enough. And even more important, as there are also a lot of talks about mobile here. So mobile link negotiation time will also be supported in the new specs. They'll also see how long it takes to actually get your carrier link time in there. But there's more than just the page download itself. So there's resource timing, which provides more or less the same information for the individual resource on your page. So it's not just the page, it's all images, CSS files, and so on the page, where you get the same information for those as well. And another specification, user timing, actually allows you to time any event on your page. You just add little pieces of JavaScript, like using marks and measures, and figure out how long custom events take on your page. And you can do even fancy things like, if you're using asynchronous AJAX interactions, typing in something into a search field, waiting for the actual reply to come back. Also measure these things as well. But there are also standards beyond measurement. So the initial standards were a lot about measurement, but it's not just about measurement per se. It's also other standards that help you to build websites that perform better. And one standard in this way is page visibility, which does something very simple, but something very substantial. It tells you whether the page is actually visible or not. And you can react to the page being visible or not, and like deciding that you do less refreshes if the user is not looking at the page at all. Timing control for script-based applications, so they really request like specific details on refresh rates and frame rates if you're doing animations. And also HAR. So HAR is now just about to move into the W3C work as well. There's an initial specification on also having a spec for the HTTP archive format within W3C, so it's also part of the work that's going on there. You see, so you see it's really a broad scope that W3C is trying to cover here. And there's also some words about the future. Sorry, I had to really take this one. I know it's, but I still like it. So the good news is that the group is working on its new charter. And for those who are not that familiar with W3C, the charter is more or less defining what the group is actually working on, and every couple of years you're refining the charter. And for right now, it's time for you to actually provide input to the new charter. So you can say what is important for you and what you want to see as a standard, which is a great opportunity, especially to the performance folks in here, to also drive the activity of W3C. So I really encourage you to get involved right now. So if you go to the website of the Web Performance Working Group, there's a link to a survey, and there you can even rank, so what's most important to you? Do you want to, there are some examples here like new APIs for more network-centric measurements. A lot came up regarding memory management, so about garbage collection, memory usage, even controlling garbage collection and so forth. And even beyond that, all results are public. So a lot of people have already provided their input, what is important for them, also contributed their performance use cases, so the kind of problems that they're trying to solve. All this information is on the W3C website. It's publicly available, so you can read what problems others have, how they prioritize things, what's important to them. And for sure, you're very much encouraged to contribute yourself. There will also be a face-to-face workshop on November 8th. Unfortunately, it will be in California, unfortunately for the Europeans, because it's a pretty long travel, but you're still encouraged to submit your position papers and provide input to the working group to really shape the future charter, and I think that's a great opportunity. I think it's just in time for Velocity Europe and for you to really provide feedback, which you can do more or less until the end of the month, so just enough time to do this. Yeah, and that's it from my side, perfectly in time. Thank you.